Hey everyone, welcome to Trade by Trade. I'm going to be going over today my strategy, my game plan for this week, Sunday, what I'm going to be looking for during the week. I'm going to show you a trade I did on Friday. This is all in the simulator, doing sim trading for now, so starting from the bottom. I did trade on Friday that I'll show you that kind of sums up my strategy. I'll give you a look at that and then we can kind of go over my strategy. My background is pretty much nothing in financing. I worked at the airport before COVID. COVID obviously messed that up. And then been a truck driver, owner operator. So literally going from truck driving to day trading. So this is my journey. I'm going to be doing videos every week and just showing from the sim trading. I did it for about a week now with some ups and downs, mostly green, but I'm just testing out the strategy, and this week I want to get it all on record and kind of show you the ups and downs and kind of my strategy. So let's kind of go from there and get into what stock I did last Friday. If you see on the 1 minute chart, I'll pull up here. It was this move right at opening. It's pretty much 9:31 till 9:56. So it was only about 25 minutes. And then I guess your first question would be, how did I find this stock? So for my strategy, which is momentum trading, I need scanners. So I got scanners on the side here. So this is all from Warrior Trading. And with the scanners, it's going to pop up and it's going to have any criteria pretty much that you're looking for whatever your strategy is. Mine is going to be momentum, so stocks that are taking off on, good news hopefully. And some of the criteria is volume. It's got to have a lot of volume, and it's got to have a low float. So these are kind of volatile. You're pretty much riding the wave up. So if you see on the 1 minute chart, 512 up to a high of 860 about. And if you're looking at the 1 minute chart, you're kind of, how do you get in, right? What's your entry? So when it pops up in the scanner, you come look at the charts and this is what you see. And you wouldn't really see an opening. So if you pull up the 10-second chart, what you'll actually see is some pullbacks. So these will be my entry points and what I'm looking for when I see this stock. I came on probably an hour before the stock market opened. I look at the scanners. I like to see kind of what's going on, what has a low float volume, the news. If you look at PAPL, it had news around 9:02, so half an hour before opening, about $100 million private placement. You can click on it and it kind of pops up and you can read about it. And some stocks move up on pretty low news. This one looked pretty legit, so this was definitely one of the stocks I was looking at. I got a couple screens here, and the charting you definitely need. So during the pre-market, I had some charts up. I was looking at a few of these stocks, and then the scanner in the top left for momentum. It'll actually have an alert system, and when something's moving, it'll alert you, and then you kind of, because if you don't get the alert, you're gonna come late and you're gonna miss pretty much the whole wave, right? Or I would. So the opening bell, this thing started to take off. I came in, I made a couple trades on it, but like I said, if you look at the 1 minute, you're not gonna see an opening. So I had to look at the 10-second, and I was able to get in on some of these pullbacks. Right, so I was looking, the MACD was open, the volume was good, and even on the 10-second, these pullbacks got bought up pretty good. So those were my entry points. I probably could have sold a little bit higher. I probably left some money on the table. I'm just trying to focus on a couple stocks. I was trading last week and I was doing some in pre-market. I just found I was losing some money. I wasn't, they weren't holding those, they would kind of pop up and then go down, and it just wasn't holding well. So I was losing money in pre-market, and then I was kind of opening bell and some of these early gainers. I was making some money. So then I was kind of like, okay, well, maybe just step away from the pre-market, focus on regular hours. And that's what I did on Friday. So I didn't trade for like the first hour and a half of when I got up. And then I saw this and I was able to get in. And again, it's on good news. So that's why I thought it would hold. It wouldn't just dump. MACD, the volume, the float was only 855,000 and the volume was 62 million. It's probably less than that while it was trading, but again, that's what I look at. Here you can see the 5-minute chart, which is sometimes good, but again, you wouldn't see an opening of when to get in, right? This is at 9:30 when it starts, and it goes to 9:50. You wouldn't have seen an entry point at that point. So that's where the 10-second chart really helps me, because it shows pullbacks. Even if it's micro pullbacks, it's good enough to get an entry point and get in. There was a couple halts on this one, I believe. This one was definitely a halt at 746. And then, yeah, it had a pretty big rise. So that's basically my strategy. That's what I'm going to be looking for. I'm not going to try to do a bunch of trades. I'm just looking for this setup. I know Hour had a pretty good setup as well. That was a good a move. I don't know about the news. I didn't like as much. But pull up Hour and see. It had I remember it had a pretty good movement in the morning as well. And it was right after this one, I believe, too. So if you see the 1 minute, like that was a pretty good gain. That was at 10:02. So if you see PAPL ended, the whole rise kind of ended around 10 o'clock. And then what happens, I think, is most of the traders try to find the next one, and then right at 10, then all of a sudden an Hour starts to pop up. I think I made a trade or two on it, but I didn't really get into it. But again, you would see these pullbacks, nice pullbacks, and to go up. But that's essentially what I'm looking for. Just trying to do a couple trades. That's my strategy. I'm going to record this week sim trading. Just to get consistent. I'm not going to try to do too much, just be consistently green, try to not have red days or minimal red days, and, prove that I can start with real money, which is obviously the goal, but you got to sim trade. And for some reason, I did not want to sim trade. For some reason, every instinct was not to, I'll just start with 500 bucks or 1,000, but I was like, if I can't make money in paper trading, then I really shouldn't use real money. So that's my strategy for this week. I didn't go into too much depth, but that's what I'm going to be looking out for in the morning. I'm going to go on probably an hour before pre-market. That way I can get my charts on, look and see what's rising, and then usually opening bell. That's when I try to look for these moves and try to maximize. Get a good entry, get out. So yeah, that's it for my video today. If you want to subscribe to enjoy my journey from truck driver to day trading, I'm gonna do the sim trading, and yeah, please subscribe if you want to follow. I'm gonna show some videos this week, and yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll take it trade by trade. See you on the next one.